In a world where global power dynamics are rapidly shifting, there is a new strategic axis emerging, one that stretches from Africa to the Indian Ocean, threading through the Middle East and connecting all the way to East Asia. And at the very center of this is Japan. This is such an interesting power shift that I really want to share the details with you because it underscores just how different the world is becoming, how different the world has already become. Africa is emerging as the theater where great powers and middle powers are engaging more and more. Many African nations are moving away from neo-colonial policies of Western states, and they seek military alliances, they seek economic alliances with Russia and China, the UAE, and Turkey. It's a truly interesting dynamic that brings Africa at the very center of the global power shift. So just several days ago at the Economic Partnership in Indian Ocean Africa Forum, which was held alongside the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba unveiled a bold new vision. That vision is to strengthen ties between Africa and the Indian Ocean nations, which includes India and the Middle East, and to do so through trade, infrastructure development, and strategic cooperation. This initiative is named the Indian Ocean Africa Economic Zone, and it aims to increase interregional connectivity and to develop what Ishiba called, and I quote here, a free and fair economic zone. The zone will fall under Japan's broader foreign policy umbrella, the Free and Open Indo-Pacific, which is a concept that was first introduced by the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe back in 2016. At first glance, you may say, well, this is actually not even important. This is nothing to write home about. However, that is not the case here. What Ishiba is proposing represents something much more strategic. He's eyeing to create an economic corridor that serves Japan's long-term energy, trade, and security needs, and positions Africa not as a recipient of aid, which is, of course, that traditional role that it's played for decades, if not centuries, but as an equal partner in development. Now, it is fair to remain skeptical, and it has yet to be seen how this actually unfolds, but the idea is indeed very promising. Now, whether Africa would truly be treated as an equal, or if this is a sugar-coated way to get them to catch the bait, that remains to be seen. And I think it is fair, as I just mentioned, to be skeptical until we see the terms of the agreements, but the idea is very, very promising, and I think it is definitely worth paying attention to. So why Africa? Why now? Well, Africa today is home to over 1.4 billion people. It is expected to nearly double by 2050. That's 1 out of every 4 people on Earth. And so add to that the continent's natural resources, including rare earth minerals critical for green energy and metals like copper and cobalt that are essential for EVs and batteries. So Tokyo has been investing in the development of the Nacala corridor since 2012. This is not a new project. It has been an ongoing initiative. And so the Nacala corridor is a strategic logistics route that links Zambia to the Indian Ocean. For Japan, Nacala offers a faster, more reliable way to access African minerals, bypassing longer, more congested routes. Prime Minister Ishiba announced renewed efforts to build up infrastructure around this corridor, including roads, ports, and a variety of inland connections using a unique Japanese approach, which is an offer-type development aid. Unlike traditional foreign aid, which is usually initiated by the recipient countries, Japan's offer-type model allows Tokyo to proactively propose and design infrastructure projects in line with both Japanese and local economic interests. This is kind of like China's Belt and Road large-scale infrastructure projects, except that the funding mechanism and the mechanics appear to be quite different. This isn't just about Africa, of course. Japan is deliberately forging a triangle of trade and logistics that includes India and the Middle East. Why is Japan doing this? I think this is a very important question. Why is Japan doing it now? Well, likely because Tokyo seeks to enhance regional connectivity in terms of trade and investment, and it no longer wants to focus on bilateral ties only. It wants to engage broader by creating multilateral avenues. And for that to be successful, these regional actors need well-developed supply chains that link African producers to logistical hubs such as ports that would then transport goods globally. Ports like Mombasa in Kenya, another focus of Japanese investment, and Nacala in Zambia are being upgraded with the help of Japan's international development arm. These upgrades include expanded cargo handling, better maritime facilities, and modern rail and road links to the African interior. Meanwhile, the Middle East, particularly places like Dubai, is becoming a logistics hub in its own right. European shipping giants are already moving operations to Dubai to tap into Africa's growth potential. So this is an ongoing process. Europe just doesn't want to miss out, even though it enjoyed free African resources for several centuries as it colonized nearly every African country. Japan, of course, has a lot riding on this initiative, and it plays a long-term game. It has an aging population and it has limited natural resources, so it needs to work fast to secure new markets and reliable supply chains, and Africa provides both. So what does Africa get in return for this? Or is this the same old game? Prime Minister Ishiba said that Japan wants to support Africa's own ambitions for industrialization and for regional integration. That means not just exporting raw materials from Africa and then exporting finished goods to Africa, the usual game, but actually this means helping African countries produce more goods in Africa. It truly sounds promising. It sounds extremely promising and positive, and let's just hope that it is indeed the case and African countries will get a boost in economic development and a way to start truly addressing their security challenges, of which there are many, with extremism still being widespread and funded via a range of illegal activities that are, of course, supported by a variety of actors in Africa, all across Africa, I should say. So this new trade zone initiative isn't happening in a vacuum. It is part of a wider geopolitical recalibration. China has already made major inroads into Africa through the Belt and Road Initiative. It has built ports, railways, and infrastructure across the continent. It has done a lot. The US has its own programs like Prosper Africa and the Partnership for Global Infrastructure. Now, arguably, and I want to be very clear, those American programs haven't had much of an impact, haven't had much of a positive impact. Now, Japan is carving out its role, but as it appears, with a bit of a different style. Japan's push to connect Africa, India, and the Middle East is clearly more than a new trade route. It is a way to reshape the global economic map. By supporting peaceful initiatives such as building infrastructure, enhancing connectivity on the African continent, and placing a greater emphasis on local interests and ambitions, Japan is not just looking for new markets, it is helping to shape an emerging epicenter of global growth, which Africa is clearly becoming. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this breakdown interesting, hit like, subscribe, and follow me on Substack and Patreon. I would love to see you there. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you back here on my channel soon. Take care.